Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm the Castle Girl. Today I'm at Crichton Castle. Crichton Castle is an impressive medieval ruined tower house castle. It's situated on a grassy terrace overlooking the River Tyne. This is around a mile north of the small village of Crichton and 2 miles south of the village of Pathhead, and around 15 miles south of Edinburgh in the Council of Mid Lothian in the east of Scotland. The original East Range 3-storey tower house was constructed as a domestic residence in 1370 by Sir John de Crichton. He had received a charter of barony from Robert III. This structure included a vaulted basement and a prison pit and a small outer walled courtyard. It was John Crichton's son William who greatly enlarged the castle during the 1400s. William was a royal courtier to James I of Scotland around 1424, and by 1437 he was the keeper of Edinburgh and guardian of the young James II. Using his position, power and wealth, he had proclaimed himself as master of the king's household and Chancellor of Scotland by 1439. During this time, he extended the castle around an internal courtyard. He added further ranges, a 3-storey gatehouse, a large kitchen and other chambers, and the magnificent Great Hall with its large windows, allowing sunlight in and fantastic views of the surrounding area. Just outside the castle walls are the now roofless stables. Allegedly said to be haunted by William Crichton's ghost. In 1440, William Crichton was involved in the planning of the Black Dinner, along with James Douglas, the 7th Earl of Douglas. Douglas's nephew, the 5th Earl, had died in 1439, and this led to an awkward sharing of power between Crichton, James Douglas and Alexander Livingston of Callander, who had inherited his title and wealth. The 16-year-old 6th Earl of Douglas, William, and his younger brother David were invited to dine with the 10-year-old King James II of Scotland at Edinburgh Castle. While eating, a black bull's head was brought in and placed in front of the young Earl of Douglas. This was seen as a symbol of death to the king. The 6th Earl and his younger brother, along with Sir Malcolm Fleming of Cumbernauld, were taken to Castle Hill and beheaded for treason. This was after a mock trial, under the protest of the young King James. William Crichton claimed from the Douglases Bothwell Castle around 1445 in retaliation. Because of this, John Forrester of Corstorphine invaded and slighted Crichton Castle. William reconstructed and extended Crichton Castle after the attack and further built the Crichton Collegiate Church nearby, dedicated to St Mary and St Kentigern, was completed by 1449. This was where priests would come and sing and pray for the family's salvation. By the third generation of Crichtons, Lord Crichton III was stripped of his lands and Crichton Castle in 1483 by King James III for supporting the king's brother Alexander Stuart, the Duke of Albany, against him. While Albany was sentenced for treason, Crichton Castle was granted to Sir John Ramsay by King James, along with Bothwell Castle. Ramsay became the first Lord Bothwell around this time. When King James III dies at the Battle of Sauchieburn in 1488, John Ramsay's titles were forfeited. Under the new king, James IV, Crichton Castle was granted to Sir Patrick Hepburn, who was a supporter of James IV against his father. Sir Patrick Hepburn was made the first Earl of Bothwell. Upon his death, in 1508, the earldom was granted to his son Adam. Adam died at the Battle of Flodden in 1513. This left Crichton and Bothwell castles to his widow, Lady Agnes Stuart. Agnes was the illegitimate daughter of James Stuart, the first Earl of Buchan. In 1514, she married Alexander Home. She was legitimised in 1552 by Mary of Guise under the Great Seal of Scotland. Patrick Hepburn, the third Earl of Bothwell, inherited Crichton Castle after the death of his mother, Lady Agnes. James Hepburn became the fourth Earl of Bothwell after his father's death in 1556. He inherited Crichton Castle along with his father's other estates. During the Scottish Reformation, James Hepburn sided with Mary of Guise, who was the widow of James V of Scotland and the mother to the young Catholic Mary Queen of Scots. By 1559, Crichton Castle was attacked and captured by James Hamilton, the second Earl of Arran. The Earl of Arran was a member of the pro-English party against Mary of Guise. Mary Queen of Scots visited Crichton Castle while attending the wedding of James Hepburn's sister Janet in 1562. In 1567, James Hepburn became the third husband of Mary Queen of Scots. The marriage was opposed to by a number of the Scottish Confederate lords. They were a group of Protestant noblemen and believed that the fourth Earl of Bothwell had murdered Mary's second husband, Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley. This led to the Battle of Carberry Hill in June 1567. James Hepburn, Lord Bothwell, fled from the battle and was never seen again by Mary. after a last embrace. Mary was forced to abdicate after the battle, and her young son James became King James VI of Scotland in July 1567. Mary was imprisoned in Lochleven Castle, but managed to escape, but eventually defeated at the Battle of Langside. She fled to England after the battle and lived in exile, although her supporters continued the Scottish Civil War on her behalf against the regents who governed Scotland during the young king's childhood. James Hepburn, the 4th Earl of Bothwell, died in April 1578 after years of imprisonment in appalling conditions in Copenhagen. Francis Stewart, who became the 5th Earl of Bothwell, was the maternal nephew of the 4th Earls. And in 1568, at the age of around 6, was granted the lands and baronies of the former Earls, including Crichton Castle. During the 1580s, Francis remodelled Crichton Castle as his residence and added the grand Renaissance-style diamond-faced courtyard facade on the new North Range. He had spent time in Italy, and the design was styled on the Palazzo di Diamonte in Ferrara. Along with other features, including the carved fireplaces, which can still be seen today. King James VI of Scotland visited Francis at Crichton Castle in 1587. Francis, however, lost favour with the king as he was accused of trying to murder him using witchcraft. The 5th Lord Bothwell was opposed to the beheading of James VI's mother, Mary Queen of Scots, and supported an English invasion. Because of this, he was imprisoned in Edinburgh Castle for a time. For some time, Francis Lord Bothwell became an outlaw and fugitive. Francis fled to Italy and lived in poverty, where he died in 1612. His son, also Francis, became the 6th Earl of Bothwell. Crippled by his father's debt, led him to sell Crichton Castle to the Hepburns of Humby. When King James Court moved to London as their permanent residence, Crichton Castle had little strategic value and was abandoned. It fell into ruin after that. In modern culture, William Turner painted Crichton Castle, and it was also mentioned in the romantic poem by Sir Walter Scott, Marmion. In 1995, Crichton Castle was a filming location for the film Rob Roy, and again in the film The Wicker Tree in 2011. Crichton Castle is now in the care of Historic Environment Scotland. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to visiting a castle near you. Bye!